It was one such quiet evening, during the preparations for Taylor Swift's upcoming tour, when an unexpected encounter unfolded a story so touching, it would leave everyone speechless. The arena was vast and silent, a stark contrast to the electrifying energy it would host in just a few days. Rows of empty seats stretched endlessly, and the stage stood half-prepared, awaiting the magic of Taylor's team. She had arrived earlier than usual, craving a moment of solitude, to reflect and rehearse before the chaos of the concert. As she walked through the echoing space, her attention was caught by a soft, melodic hum. It wasn't coming from her team or a sound check, those hadn't started yet. The voice, untrained but sincere, floated from the upper rows of the stands. Intrigued, Taylor followed the sound. Up in the shadows of the higher seating, she saw him. A janitor in his mid-40s, dressed in a worn uniform. He was busy wiping down the seats, his movements steady and focused, as if in rhythm, with the song he was humming. Taylor stood in the quiet of the arena, listening as the janitor's voice floated through the air. It wasn't a performance, it was raw and unpolished, but there was something deeply moving about it. The man seemed unaware of his surroundings, completely absorbed in the song, as he worked his way down the rows of seats, humming and singing softly. She noticed the weariness in his posture, the faint sag in his shoulders, that spoke of long hours and hard days. His uniform was clean, but frayed at the edges, a small badge on his chest, identifying him as Mike. Taylor took a step closer, her curiosity growing. Just as she was about to speak, the janitor paused mid-song. He glanced around, as if sensing someone nearby, and froze when his eyes met hers. For a moment, neither of them spoke. His face shifted from confusion to wide-eyed disbelief. Are you really? He stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. Taylor offered a warm smile. Hi, I hope I'm not interrupting. The man fumbled for words, his hands tightening on the handle of the mop. No, I didn't think anyone was here yet. Taylor took a seat on one of the chairs near him. I couldn't help but hear you singing. That's one of my songs, isn't it? Mike nodded, his face flushed. Yeah, my daughter, she loves your music. I guess I hear it so much, it's stuck in my head. Hope that's okay. It means a lot, that my songs mean something to you and your family, she replied. Mike hesitated, then opened up a little more. My daughter's been asking to come to one of your concerts, but times are tough. Taylor listened intently, her heart breaking a little at his words. She could see the love he had for his family, the sacrifices he was making, just to keep things afloat. And here he was, working long hours to clean a venue for a concert he likely couldn't afford to attend. Taylor leaned forward, her curiosity growing with every word Mike shared. What's your daughter's name? She asked gently. Ella, he replied. She's 12. Loves singing and dancing, says she wants to be like you someday. A faint smile touched his lips as he spoke, a mix of pride and sadness, flickering in his expression. Taylor's heart warmed. She sounds incredible. You must be so proud of her. Mike nodded, but the weight of his struggles was evident. I wish I could give her more, you know, I work as many shifts as I can, but some things are just out of reach. He gestured toward the stage, as if to emphasize the unbridgeable gap between their worlds. Taylor placed a comforting hand on the chair beside her. It's clear how much you care about her. That's what matters most. She hesitated for a moment before adding, would you mind singing that song again? You have a beautiful voice. Mike's face flushed with embarrassment. Oh, I don't know about that. Please, Taylor urged with a smile. It would mean a lot to me. Reluctantly, Mike began to sing. His voice trembled at first, but as he closed his eyes and let the lyrics flow, a quiet confidence emerged. The empty arena seemed to hold its breath, his unpolished melody echoing in the vast space. Taylor listened, her own lyrics taking on a new depth, as they were sung back to her with such sincerity. When he finished, she clapped softly. You've got a gift, Mike. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He chuckled, shaking his head. I'm just an old janitor, trying to make ends meet. You're so much more than that, Taylor said firmly. And I think Ella knows that too. Mike had no clue that his candid honesty and raw talent had already inspired her to do something extraordinary. She stood and offered a warm smile. "Thank you for sharing your story and your song with me." Mike watched her walk away, a mixture of awe and gratitude in his eyes. He had no idea that the simple moment he shared with Taylor would soon lead to something that would change his and Ella's lives forever. Taylor walked back to her team. She couldn't shake the image of Mike singing her song, his voice carrying a raw emotion that resonated deeply. His story, his struggles, and his love for his daughter touched her heart in a way she hadn't expected. She knew she had to do something. "Can we arrange something special for a janitor named Mike?" she asked her manager. Her team, familiar with her spontaneous acts of kindness, immediately got to work. Taylor wanted this to be more than just tickets to her concert. She wanted to make a lasting impact. By the end of the day, Taylor had arranged for Mike and his daughter Ella to have VIP tickets to her show, complete with backstage access. But she didn't stop there. Learning about Mike's struggles to support Ella's education, she contacted a local scholarship foundation to help provide for her schooling. It was important to Taylor that these gestures remained discreet. She didn't want them to feel like charity, but rather a recognition of the sacrifices Mike had made. The night of the concert arrived, and Mike and Ella were escorted to their seats near the stage. Ella's excitement was palpable. Her eyes sparkled as she took in the grandeur of the arena. For Mike, the moment was surreal. Sitting there, watching his daughter's joy, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. After the show, Ella finally met her idol. The moment was filled with laughter and hugs. When Mike tried to thank Taylor, she simply shook her head. "You've already done so much for Ella," she said with a smile. "This is just a little extra from me." As they left the venue that night, Mike carried more than just the memory of the evening. In his hands was a folder containing the scholarship details for Ella's education, along with a handwritten note from Taylor. "Thank you for reminding me why I do what I do. You and Ella inspire me more than you'll ever know." For the first time in years, Mike felt a sense of hope and possibility, not just for himself, but for his daughter's future. For Taylor, it was never about recognition or publicity. It was about staying true to the values that defined her as an artist. What would you have done in Taylor's place? Have you ever experienced or witnessed a moment of unexpected kindness that changed someone's life? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming tales of humanity and connection. And remember, sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change someone's life forever.